Hello and welcome to Cool Shark Racing, and today we've got a track guide for a very difficult circuit, Bathurst Panorama. So we're going to have a video of the lap and then we'll have an in-depth look at exactly how to do it. So now let's look at that lap in depth. So coming into turn 1, we want to brake just after the 100 metre board on the right. The light after the 100 metre board is a good braking zone to use. Then on the left-hander we want to get nice and tight, using quite a lot of the curb. We want to use all the track on this circuit to really find all the time that we need for a good lap, but we also need to be careful not to invalidate our lap as well. Coming into turn 2 then, we want to brake just after this dip on the barrier on the left hand side. We want a slightly later apex. We want to get really close to the curb without actually being on it so we don't lose any time. Then using all the exit there as well. Coming onto this left-hander, we want to start turning in when we see this dip on the right hand side. Get really close to the left hand side barrier and then slowly start to drift off to the right hand side, coming into the next corner. Coming into the next corner, we want to be on the right hand side as we enter it and brake just after the left-hander where we see the yellow barrier start on the right hand side. Getting really close to the left-hander, using all the track there. And then we're full out for the next few corners, just using all the track so we can carry as much speed. Here on the entry of the right-hander, we want to make sure we're nice and wide so we can take the next corner quite quick. As you see, full throttle, using all the curbing as well. Being careful not to hit the barrier, but you can get really close. Using all the curb as well. On this left-hander, we want to start turning in where we see the start of that Monster Energy barrier. And then get a nice and tight apex as well. And also getting on the curb there as well. Being careful on the exit that we don't use too much of the curb and cause ourselves to spin. This is one of the hardest sections of the track, so I'm going to show you a slow motion video so you can see exactly what I'm doing, where I'm braking, because this is a very difficult section of the track because there's so many hills and tight corners as well, and a lot of these corners are blind as well, so it's very hard to find our braking points in turning. This right-hander as well, the final corner in the section, if you brake just before the hill, it'll stop you going airborne and missing the braking point and the apex. So let's break down exactly what I did through that section. So the braking zone is where we see the gap in the advertisement on the left hand side. We then want to get into the middle of the track, a little bit more brakes there as well, coming into the left hander. And then using all the curb on the left, and then we want to brake again just a little bit as soon as we get off that curb. And then the next few corners we just want to lift off the throttle a bit, getting really nice and tight, using the curb and getting really close to the barriers. Same with this left-hander here, we want to get nice and tight and using all the track through this section as well. Now coming down to the downhill part, we want to be on the left hand side of the track coming into this corner. Then after the corner we want to be in the middle of the circuit, and we want to brake just before the hill, because if you brake after the hill you'll go airborne and you'll miss the apex and have to be on the brakes a lot longer. But if you brake just before the hill, then you'll be able to hit the apex and get a good exit onto the long straight afterwards. Your tyres may lock up depending on where you brake, but you'll still be fine and get a good exit. Now it's full throttle down this hill. Coming onto the right hander on our entry, we want to be a little bit wide so we can take it full throttle, but we don't need to use any curb, it's nice and wide, so just full throttle through that section. Coming into the left hander, you have to brake earlier than you think you do because it doesn't brake very well on this corner because you're at full speed. So you want to start braking after the 200 meter board and before the 100 meter. So just before you see the black Monster Energy barrier on the right hand side is a good braking point as well. Coming on to the left hander, we want to use quite a lot of curb, but being careful that we don't use too much and go on two wheels. Full throttle around the right hander using the curb and all the track. On the final corner we want to brake just at the start of the yellow advertisement board on the right hand side. Then using quite a lot of curb on the left hand side as well. And then using all the exit as well, being careful not to invalidate our lap, but we can use all the exit curb. And that's the lap finished. Thank you very much for watching that track guide. I hope it helps you improve your lap times on this very difficult circuit. Please like and subscribe, and a big shout out to the sponsor of the video, Amstech Accounting.